Good evening, my YouTube family. So tonight is another pantry challenge meal. We are actually going to do an old time, I guess, childhood favorite from all of us. Is we're going to do a revised from original recipe sloppy joes. Only we're going to be using our deer meat that we canned, and I am going to be making some more onion rings, but I'm fixing to give you a different recipe for a breading that we find to be a little bit better. To me, it reminds me more of an onion ring versus the one that I had given you before. So these are the new ones. Before I begin, though, I do want to thank each and every one of you. You are more of a blessing to us than you think you are, and you say that we're a blessing. You have no idea how much of a blessing you are to us. So God bless you. You have helped us reach up to 1,300 subscribers. That is absolutely amazing, and I couldn't be more honored and more blessed to have you as a part of our family. So I wanted to make sure that I had brought that up to you. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to start out with the breading mix and explain a little bit more about it as soon as I can set you up for visuals. So I'm going to pause this for just a moment and set this thing up so that we can cook together tonight. Okay, the first thing I'm going to give you, and I will put this in the description box below for you as well, but I'm going to give you what I had considered and I started using a couple months ago. I went to venturing into new ideas and stuff, but I keep coming back to this basic low-carb breading mix. We have used this to bread our chicken with when I wanted to make eggplant parmesan, or if I wanted to take chicken tenders. This recipe is just, it's been a whole lot better as far as flavor and crispness. So what it is again, it's my basic low carb breading mix. It is 1 cup grated Parmesan cheese, finely grated, 1.5 cups of ground pork skins, 1 cup almond flour, a half a teaspoon of onion powder, and a half teaspoon of garlic powder. Mix all this together in a bowl, and what's nice about this, you can make a big batch of it, and this freezes very well, so you can just go to it when you want to. So this is what I'm going to use tonight for our onion rings, and you can choose to do this both ways. You can put them in an air fryer, you can put it in oil, either way. Now I am actually going to be frying mine up, and I am finding at this point in the pantry challenge, I told you, it kind of gets to the point, though we still have quite a bit, it does get to the point it becomes challenging as we are almost 3 to 4 weeks into this now. And some of the things that we had, which we could afford to stock, are starting to get low, and olive oil is one of them. The price of avocado oil, I use that sparingly. So I am actually going to opt into one option that we've had when I render down my own pork fat into lard. So I am going to be using some of this tonight to fry up our onion rings. So I'm going to go ahead and get us set up, and I'm going to start with the sloppy joe mix and the revised version. Lord have mercy, Carrie. I'm going to get this out, I promise. So we're going to set this up, and I'm going to start with using the deer meat that we canned. And you can see, I told you before when I canned this looked like it had a little fat, and that's all it is just a little. I can keep this for the flavor, or I can discard it because it just comes off from the top. So I'm not worried about this. What I am going to do, though, like I do with all of my meat products and basically anything I can, I give it a 10-minute cook before I use it. So I am going to go ahead, add juice and all at this point. I am going to cook this deer meat for 10 minutes, and from there I'm going to set it up for the sloppy joe sauce. So I shall be right back with you. Okay, so I have cooked this meat up for 10 minutes. We decided to go ahead and add a jar also, one of our canned jars of hamburger to this. There's a lot of times, most of the time actually, our leftovers will go for hubby's lunch the next day. So there wasn't actually enough for that between supper and lunch for him, so we just went ahead and added another jar. Now we may have a little bit too much, but that means I can have lunch tomorrow too. So at the next step I'm going to do it, I am going to add some chopped onions and bell peppers, about a quarter of a cup each. This, honestly, when you're going to make this recipe, go based by your preference. You know, you can add what you choose to your liking and your taste. These are those recipes that, you know, maybe I want a little bit more bell peppers, maybe I want a little bit more onions, maybe I don't want this. So go based by your preference on the amount. These are just a basic, it's following a recipe. So I'm going to go ahead and cook this in here until these are tender. And I will come back after that and add the sauce to this. I've not tried this yet. Like I said, I'm taking an original and I'm revising it like I've been doing a lot of lately. But I think, you know, most recipes are easy to revise for us. They're really not that hard. So I tend to do this a lot because we like real food. So I will be back in just a minute as soon as these are cooked soft, and I will finish the rest of this on the sauce part. Okay, so now my onions and my bell peppers are softened up enough. I'm going to go ahead and add 3/4 of a cup of no sugar added ketchup. We are actually out of ketchup, and as we go through our seeds, what we're wanting to do, we're looking at this pantry challenge to help us figure out this season's crops. So this is one of the prime examples that we know. I'm going to be getting into that very soon in a video as well. We definitely need way more tomatoes. Now the recipe says to use a teaspoon of yellow mustard. I'm actually going to use the Dijon mustard. I think it would give it more of a robust flavor, so I'm going to use our Dijon mustard that we made here on the homestead. Now it calls, the original is 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. I am actually going to use Swerve's brown sugar, and I've been learning on some of this stuff. You can go half and half, one-on-one with them, but I'm just going to go with half. I can always add more later if I wanted to after I taste test it. So it gives me room to work with. Let me go ahead and get these onion rings as I'm working on this recipe too. There just needs to be some work on this. So as far as the breading is concerned, y'all, the breading is fantastic if you want to bread fish, chicken, stuff like that. Onion rings, I'm still working with. So don't try this just yet until I can figure out the perfect way to do an onion ring. Now the next ingredients in the recipe is some salt and pepper. It's salt and pepper to taste. Remember, I did not add any salt to my meat, and this is why. So I'm going to go ahead and add about a 1/2 teaspoon. I can always add more. Add some pepper. I'm going to add two tablespoons of cider vinegar. And it seems my husband used the cider vinegar for when he went and grilled, so now I have to open up a new one. So I will be right with you. Okay, so now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of cider vinegar. You can add or omit this. And about a tablespoon of Worcestershire. I'm actually going to be using amino acids in ours. Do you ever know that when you want to go do something, everything is in its place, but now when you go to work, I shall be right back. Okay, so we found the missing culprit that took off. So we are using 1 tablespoon of liquid aminos, which is basically the same thing as Worcestershire, but the carbs are 0 in this. I'm just going to mix this up now. Really good. Oh, this smells so good. I can't remember when the last time we had a Sloppy Joe. And the sugars in Sloppy Joe mix is stupid crazy. So I just go and start making my own. And I thought, why not? You know, there's no reason why we can't have what we used to love. Just revise the recipes. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this up. Get this seasoned and heated through. I'm going to taste test it and I will be back with you. Okay, so all the flavors were mixed well. They were heated through. I did the taste test and spot on. Y'all, I'm not changing this recipe. Well, I did. Just a hair. I take that back. Sorry. I would suggest using about 1 cup of ketchup. The no sugar ketchup. And I just added just a fraction, maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon of the brown sugar. But other than that, this recipe is as close to Sloppy Joe mix as I could got. So I'm going to show you the finished product on this. The onion rings were a scratch. I'm going to think of something else. I actually would have had, my intentions were cauliflower mock potato salad, but hubby had a doctor's appointment over his wrist today, which, by the way, we got some good news. He got his cast taken off, and they said another 3 weeks they put him in a soft brace. So he said that the bones is healing very well. So that was a praise report for us. So I'm going to switch you over to show you the final product, and I will put also, along with the breading recipe, I will put this recipe in there for you as well. So let me switch you around. And there we have it. We have our own mock revised Sloppy Joes. So I'm going to look forward to this. We have not, again, we haven't had Sloppy Joes in I don't know how long. So I am really going to enjoy this. This was actually used with pantry meat that we get canned. So I can't go wrong here. I hope you have a blessed evening. I hope you enjoyed this. Please like, subscribe, and share these videos if you continue to like them and want to share with your family and friends. So until the next video, much love to you. Good night from Parton's Heritage Homestead.